Do you want more? More time, more balance, more love, more sex, more money, more real, and less bullshit? This is the Women Wanting More podcast with Dr. Karen Osborne. Real life, real stories, plus real tips to get you more of what you want.
There's something that came to me today as I'm driving around, doing some errands, getting ready for my big boy's birthday party. Turns 8 tomorrow. And with the last 5 months or so of me just really hitting this breaking point with myself physically, emotionally, mentally, just really taking a pause from business outside of this podcast and just really trying to not even just figure out, but just to listen and to rest and to take care of myself, because I've just been going for so many years. And here I am, 49, and just feeling pride. Realizing that even though there was a lot of self-care that was going on, things I'm taking care of, I was really operating my life based on what I see other people do. And let me explain that. And the reason I've called this episode, Whose Race Are You Running?, is that I think it is very common. I don't think I'm alone with this, of saying, okay, so here's the recipe for success, whether it's how you show up as a mother, whether it is, how you show up within your marriage, maybe the body you're trying to create, the health you're trying to create, perhaps you're healing through some kind of an illness, business that you're creating. There is such a thing in our society right now is that it has to happen quickly. Like, launch a business and, make this money overnight. Like, join this MLM and you'll be at this rank, this amount of money by, 30 days. Start investing into your marriage and suddenly everything will be, healed and repaired with the shitstorm that you're currently in. Like, somehow the game is to get there as fast as you can, with whatever result, whatever outcome you're trying to achieve. And then if it takes time, and or if you don't get it done within that period of whatever is quote unquote, acceptable isn't even really the word, expected, then you feel like a complete failure. Like you fucked everything up because you didn't get it done fast enough. And one thing that I've learned about myself over this last, 5 months or so, is that I was absolutely following the path of a lot of great people and some I know very well. Some who are coaches and mentors, some who I, aspire to be, some who have really motivated me to go forward with things that I'm trying to create within my business. And, what I realized in all of this is whose race am I really running here? Is this the timeline that I want? Or is this the time that I think it's supposed to go down? And that's one of the things, that I was really frustrated with this movement with Women Wanting More, because I'm I've had this podcast out for, almost 3 years at that point. I feel like I should have this greater movement. I would model myself on other ones that I saw that were kind of similar. Most of them were ones with men, but, albeit. And I just felt like, I'm not there. I should be there. I didn't know, by the way, where there was, but it wasn't where I was. And it was irregardless of gratitude for what had been created. There was still a massive amount of honor and privilege and thankfulness for the women that I've had the privilege of coaching, whether it was something as, my monthly program that I created, it's the Sisterhood group coaching program I created about 1.5 years ago, whether it was one-on-one, very intense level of coaching, live events, virtual group, I look back on all these experiences. I look back on the women that I did have the honor of being able to coach and lead and mentor, and I'm thankful for it. I very much am. But I was still feeling very lack. And the reason why is because I was basing my pace, let's call it, my results, my outcome on somebody else's fucking race, not mine. Not mine. and feeling that again, if it didn't happen quickly, there must be something wrong with me. I got to find another way. And I'm such a hard worker. I'm like that pit bull that like attaches to something and it's just relentless, right? Like I'll just keep going. I'm like, okay, this didn't work. No problem. I'm going to try this now. Okay, found a little bit about that. Let me try this now. Let me do that. I literally was just like creating new things, coming up with new things, hiring new coaches, trying new ways. Like I was not giving up until my body went, we need to, we got to have a talk here, Karen. Yeah. What you're doing to us, the body, what you're doing to our friend heart, what you're doing to soul, which by the way, we all work together. We are all one, Karen. I know you know this, but just FYI reminder, like your way of being right now, it is not working. It is not working. So we're going to deliver this experience to you right now. And I'm really sorry we had to do this. But, the thing is, girl, you have not been listening. And it's going to suck. And I'm really sorry. But, this is what needs to happen right now. And the different pace that I'm moving at, and it's funny, like, although I said at the top of this podcast that it is really celebrated in our society, North America, that, things that are done quickly, fast, overnight success, overnight, change your body, like overnight, heal your marriage, overnight become a better parent. That although that is still celebrated quite a bit, there's also a real backlash that I see happening too. People just saying, you know what? I'm fucking tired, especially women. We wear so many hats, don't we? We wear so many hats. And this feeling like somehow you're failing at them all, like that's broken. It's broken to keep thinking this way. And here's the thing that's even crazier. We like celebrate and put people on a pedestal who care for other people, right? Like, oh my God, look at the message that they're putting out. Look at this, this person or this organization. They work tirelessly for, fill in the blank charity or group of people or those that are underprivileged or those that are not, that are being ignored or mistreated or abused, and they're celebrated. But the moment that person turns the love and the care back on themselves, we have a different way of seeing that person, don't we? Oh, good for them. That must be nice to do that for you. Selfish. If it's a man, we're often going to call him narcissistic. If it's a woman, we're going to say, if she's a mother, oh my God, that's even quote unquote worse, right? Because you should be, you're taking care, doing stuff for you. That's not showing up as a good mom. A good mom pours everything into her children until she's just drained of nothing left of who she once was before kids. That's crazy. Crazy. Whose race are you running? See, this takes some time, right? Because it is easier. And listen, I understand it. It makes sense. When I created Women Wanting More, which started really with this podcast, and then from there became coaching, and then became live events, and then became online courses and other things with that online store. I created some clothing for a period of time. Like, it was just like, whatever I need to do to get out this message of you can have a life of more, then I will do it. But when I started this, it really was, I had coaches and mentors that had done similar things that I was really piggybacking on them because, that's one way to learn how to do something, right? Let me kind of save time. Let me look at that person has done what I'm looking to accomplish. So I'm going to do what they've done, right? I mean, it's a beautiful way. It's one way that we learn is we take a look at what others have done and we follow suit, right? Makes sense. If you see someone who's a trainer, they have the body you want, the strength, the flexibility, the like whatever, and you go, man, I want that person to train me because I want what they have. Makes complete sense. But there's a time though when you need to cut the cord. And I think for so many of us, we don't. And I certainly didn't because I kept holding myself to that standard. Holding myself to a standard where I was seeing men, not that I can't do that as a woman, we're not going to have that ridiculous conversation, But men who were most likely, actually men that I knew, were not doing the lion's share of caring for the kids like I am with our family. And I'm trying to run at that pace when I also have children to care for and I want to be there for. When I had decided 2.5 years ago, sitting at a coaching experience, that, man, I was putting business ahead of my husband and my kids, and this is messed up, and this will change. I vowed to myself at that experience that, like, I'm not doing this anymore. And yet, again, I'm running with the pack. I'm taking a look at people who are, again, mostly men, who that's not the case, and they have their wife as either their wife is a stay-at-home mother, or she's, again, taking care of the majority of the child care and family and all that kind of stuff. And there's nothing wrong with that. I'm not saying that, their way is somehow wrong or broken. That is their race. But I realized that I wasn't running my own. And on top of that I don't necessarily need to walk. I don't need to run it. I could walk and still get there at my own pace, in my own way, in my own path, in the journey that matters most to me, which is to do this in a way where I don't run myself into the ground anymore. So I want you to really sit with this, sister, and let's kind of morph right to the more tip from here. Like, take a look at an area of your life. Maybe it's something like I mentioned, like with health, right? Where it's like you're trying to achieve this thing in this like superhuman period of time and feeling, because everybody wants the sexy weight loss and the sexy body transformation and the sexy strength change. And sure, there's certainly ways to do it efficiently where it maybe doesn't have to take as long as you might think. But where is it? First, identify the area of your life that you're holding yourself and you're running the race of somebody else. And number 2, what is a way that you can now begin to create your own path? We're not going to even call it the race, because that assumes speed, right? That assumes that things need to get done like yesterday. That assumes things like saying, I'm going to give 120%. 120? There's only 100. You want to, you can give 100 and that's awesome, but 110, what the fuck is that? How about doing your absolute best while still having time for other things in your life that matter to? And I know you can love working out, and I know that you can love your kids, and I know that you can love business, and it's not necessarily a job for you. But are you really walking the path that is yours, or are you running somebody else's race? And if you feel it's the latter, then I want you to really open up your journal and at the top write this. My own path looks like this, and start writing. See, for me, my own path looks like right now as I'm waiting, I'm here a little bit early to pick up my kids after school and drop them off. It means that I have time in my day to do stuff like get ready for my son's birthday party. It means that I have time in my day as well too to take care of me. And I was hit a lunchtime spin class. It means that I get up early in the morning and often go to bed by no later than 10 at night so I can have space for me. See, that's what my path looks like. It means that right now I'm creating a lot of stillness and pause in my business because there is still something that I feel very exhausted in some respects. Physically a little bit, more emotionally, just very raw. It just doesn't feel like it's the time to move. It feels like it's the time to pause. And I'm listening and I'm hearing. So what does that path look like for you? And journal that really to see what insights that you might uncover. So finishing up, sister, a couple of things. Number 1, if you don't already subscribe to the 112 newsletter, do that now. Head over to drkarenosram.com/action guide, enter in your email, and I'm sending you some cool gifts. Number 2, there's about 40 or so Women Want to More limited edition orange leather, beautiful, gorgeous journals left that I'm shipping out for free to some of the last 40 women that say, I'm in. You take care of a little bit of shipping. I do all the rest and send you some other cool Women Want to More swag. So that's over at drkarenosram.com/free journal. And the last thing I'm going to ask of you, sister, that if you do enjoy this podcast, if this is of value to you, I'm going to please ask for you to take a couple minutes in your day, head over to iTunes and leave a review. Let me know what you think of the podcast. Help me connect with more women that need to hear this message. So I will talk the next episode, sister. A life of more is just one step away from you finding your own path and not running somebody else's race every single day. I love and appreciate you.
To get the show notes of each Women Wanting More episode, including the How to Get More tip, subscribe to the newsletter at drkarenosburn.com/newsletter.